This is Monday, December 16th, 2019, and we are covering ArtsConnect's AGM and 50th anniversary celebration. It was off to a grand start, but we had to postpone this event until 3:05 p.m. due to the fact that our secretary had to leave after setup in order to purchase some forgotten items necessary to complete our smorgasbord dinner. While waiting the return of our secretary, the remaining board members, Sherry Carroll and Manfred Cross, along with our guests, Rose Cap, Margaret Birch, Jeff Scott, Dave Noga, and Bert Kubayen, decided to engage in some social intercourse, which turned into a lengthy discourse of storytelling and information sharing. Of course, this had to include sampling or having complete plates of the food from the smorgasbord.
Some people think they can make a lot of money on art. Well, guess what? But it's not that easy. How would you say it's another skill? Like a lot of artists, if they have to write grants, if they have to write their own, press releases or anything, those are all skills that actual people learn in primary school. To be a writer and do press releases and do branding.
We saw people, they just didn't care. I mean, it was obvious it was there. The emotion that they pulled you, but they didn't put it there. So there's another side to people seeing real art, natural art, and yet.
Well, I mean, everybody knows that. Like there's always you've got your black velvet painting, you've got your art for how do you call it, for pink banana on the side of Yeah, exactly. You've seen it. It's famous now.
It is.
But that's what I mean. More than the, it's the conception.
For the Canadian gallery about years ago.
Oh, yeah.
Blue light out there.
Yeah.
I think I could have handled that myself.
Well, we all talk about Picasso. He goes, and then it's worth, 10, 20,000.
That was my point to you earlier. I always understood, and I have no expertise in this area except my own enjoyment, is that the real true value of art is always in the eye of the beholder, because I look at that picture right there and I said, this is absolutely beautiful to me. Because I like fall and I like those colors and they mix with the green. I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
But it may not be something that some artistic expert would say, oh, well, yeah, no, it's just.
Well, then how about this? We're just chatting, it's easier to put
Well,
it stuff down.
and with everybody being artists of some kind,
Yeah.
it makes more
Yeah.
Remember that for next time.
How are you doing?
My mother did a lot of painting, and I have the proof.
Okay, so this is
I
here.
don't know if you know who he is, but
Same way we solved our conflict issues.
That's right, the eliminator. Preventative
Now,
measures.
you said that what has been going around in Skinny there was a lot of conflict. Because it went on for a long time.
Yeah. Because I'm friends with Helen Daniels and other people, and we heard about it.
Well, sure. Let people know what we've accomplished.
Moving around and just talking with elected official. And I look at how they think things are. And I just tell you, that's not how. Jeff, you have an opinion about the latest ArtsConnect manager.
Yeah, that was Yvonne Chu, though.
Yvonne Chu.
Yeah.
And what should I go to,
Maybe
Bridge,
which?
which is
All the funding comes through this one new amazing source that they've put together, which leads to no funding whatsoever. Because it's not just for arts and culture, it's for anybody who wants to apply, and you can get
Oh, yeah.
people who, you're the PhD, the bank, and the hospital. You're not to be talking about. I'm hoping we could close on that. Our strategy now is we still partner in a way with Volvo because they provide us the facilities to shoot once a month as a donation in kind. So we have no funding necessarily, but they support us through facilities and we do cover some civic events, but not very many, not like we used to cover. In Port Moody, we cover nothing. I mean, nothing civic. We have partners at the Heritage Society and at the Arts Center that will promote activities there. But, we're not doing that for bike days, we're not supporting city initiatives, nothing in that regard. And, one day maybe we'll get back there, but I'm not anxious to get back there. We get busy and...
Yeah, let's get rid of that.
Take
Can
care
we
of
get rid of that?
Take care of this.
Yeah,
is
we
Ashley.
and we only have till 4.
And I have to get out of here eventually too. But I'll
Thank you very much. And I'll be
You're not gonna stick around for the AGM now?
That's all I
Oh,
can
you just
say.
go for the social aspect.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, what's the side of life?
Thanks.
Thanks, sir.
Get some food.
Adding another body to the guest list.
Yes.
Okay, so let's,
A lot better than last year. We had no guests.
yes, we have not done, that's why we're still here in business, because they wanted to use our name,
Yeah.
and they had to ask us.
They won't know what it is.
Call the meeting to order. I guess I better get my secretary hat on. And I guess our 3 board members will sit here and let the guests know what we're about.
Okay, so this is the agenda, I'll just pass this out.
No.
Thank you.
And the time.
5 Street.
At 3:05. Okay. I guess while I'm here and speaking, I will welcome all the guests. What's left as guests. So you want to read the last, Sherry? Since you're the acting president,
Oh, right.
you may as well read the minutes. I'll put a motion on the table to vote for the approval of the agenda.
Got to be a board member, I guess, to...
Yeah, I did that at Minnetonka, halfway through the session.
Got to go back and change them all?
No, the secretary says, "Oh, you're not a member here." Roger was happy that I was seconding every motion. Okay, so we vote the agenda. Right. Reading the minutes, so Sherry will read that.
So are we on number 6 now?
Number 4.
Oh, no, for reading of the minutes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take care of the agenda first.
Okay, so read that, that would be, that report in front of you, which you made.
Yeah, I think reading of the minutes is not literally, I think as long as people look at it, it's a matter of voting, do you accept it or is there any other issues?
Okay, but we didn't give them copies, we only have the one copy.
Sorry?
We only have the one copy.
So of the minutes, though, the only people who can accept it are those who were at the last meeting, because those of us who weren't there have no say in whether it's reflected or not.
Acknowledgement of it.
So it's up to you three to, yeah.
So,
All right, so.
Sherry, we'll pretend Sherry read the minutes of the meeting and we'll vote on that.
Excellent.
Vote to approve the meeting,
A vote to approve the
the
minutes.
minutes.
Okay, so 2018 was the 3 of us actually. That agreed that we were going to carry on for another year because we had to make sure that we were still in business.
Have you been contacted by the ArtsConnect group yet at that time, or was it just a matter of?
We have been asked about that before.
Okay.
And
Yeah, they contacted us last
And
summer.
what they said was, we had quite a lot of information. And at that time, we said, it's not our job to stand in the way of anybody wanting to do anything. So we said yes to their use of our name. And then they were going to have a soft opening in May, but it essentially didn't happen until October because all of these things seem to take a long time. That's why I need somebody to monitor that, because I don't know if this is actually going to be of any use to us in the future. But it looked like a good idea at the time. And the reason why they did it was because the arts and culture function of the Alberta government died as soon as the new guy got in power.
So number 5,
We approved the minutes of our 2018 AGM.
yes. So we've covered the agenda. Old business?
Okay, old businesses, I'm going to tell you about the state of our charity status reinstated. We've been removed from charity status. We're in the process of complying with their demands to be reinstated. We have about $536 in our bank account that may be necessary to use to be reinstated. That's why we're not spending it.
Now, I'll interject a note there. When we were dealing with this issue, they, not necessarily in writing, but indicated that they would waive that $500 fee because a lot of what went down at the time was partly their own fault, the mistakes that they made. They were sending our information to an address that we don't have. And our only conclusion at the time was is that maybe Mr. Levert changed our address because it wasn't coming to Fernwood Lodge. It was coming to another address.
We had an office at Fernwood Lodge. We had it for many, many years. And our previous president, when I told him that we couldn't afford to keep the office, he said, well, that's okay, I'll take care of it. Well, we didn't. 2 years went by. In the meantime, that was still our official office record. But we actually changed that officially years ago. Our bank statement goes to the FedEx group at Shaughnessy Station. That is our address of record. And what we found out was that they were sending us information to post office box in Coquitlam. Somewhere in Coquitlam.
Ashton Street or something.
It was
I can't remember
Coquitlam.
correctly.
We don't know why.
No.
Nonetheless, we didn't get any correspondence. And I started finding around about September, October to get the tax forms from them to come to the right place. And they said, oh, you've been discontinued. And I'm going, what's that? Well, you didn't reply to this thing we sent you. And I said, where was it sent to? And it went to Fernwood Lodge and Bats, and then it was resent to this post office box in Coma Lake. And I'm going, okay, what do we have to do now? And
So I sent
that's
a nasty little letter blaming,
Yeah.
putting the blame
So
on them
all,
for
you know,
your-
I mean, all I can say is, all this is my fault because I didn't do it, or I didn't get on top of it early enough. The report, all we have for financials is $536 in our bank account. It started that way last year and it ended that way this year. I'm hanging on to the $500 for dear life, in case I try to pay for that to retain our charity status.
I might interrupt Jerry. Jerry, it was 500 and how much?
Yeah, right, so.
No, how much in the bank?
Hmm?
How much in the bank?
$556.
536.
Oh, 536, sorry, missed that.
The corporation owes me money and owes Bill money, and essentially owes Manfred money, the gas money. Okay? So if that $500 comes freed up, that's where it's gonna go. And then I believe that Bill is going to talk about,
Yes, I'll speak to...
talk about our assets that we have not been able to get back from the former president.
Right. Back about a year and a half ago, we approached our former president by mail, by hand delivery, requesting that he return all the corporate assets that are in his possession. Sherry believes that it's probably a considerable amount more than what we were going for. But we've taken it to the Civil Resolution Tribunal, which basically rejected our claim based on the fact that we didn't present any evidence. My assumption was, based on the way that this principle worked, was that Sherry's list of the assets that he had and their value, and the fact that she was the treasurer and a board member of the society, her word should have meant something. But obviously they didn't take it at that, and so they just dropped the case, which forced us to take it to small claims court.
Okay, so.
So small claims court will be held on January 17th to bring Mr. LeBert into the court, and by then we'll have all the physical evidence, the bills, the receipts, and maybe a couple of when you swear to legal document?
Yeah.
What's it called?
Affidavit.
An affidavit from at least one or two people that will clearly indicate that he has these assets.
Yeah, what we want to do is get back our assets.
Yeah. Or the cash value. And personally, I think the cash value, considering probably the condition of most of those assets that he's got, either is non-existent or they're probably in pretty bad shape. But anyway, it'll be up to the judge to decide that based on the evidence we present.
So you won't give anything back, because he thinks he's still president.
Or as a hoarder, he doesn't want to give it out.
Yeah.
Well, there's that.
And we have the documents to prove that he's no longer a member of the society.
Well, that's the other thing too. It took us a whole year and a half to get the nonprofit society status regularized. And we, Manfred, me, and Bill, are board of directors for this operation. And it looks like we'll be it again for the next year, but while we work things out.
So, treasurer's report. I'll put a motion on the table to accept the treasurer's report.
Okay, so you understand where we're sitting here, Pat? $500 was sitting there in limbo, financial limbo, just in case we have to pay it to do our treasurer's status.
Well, I'll send them a nasty little letter if they do.
Yeah.
So you're going back on your word, based on
Well,
your...
Well, what I'm hearing too, I mean, you're still in a state of, I mean, even if we get through this AGM, still a state of questioning where you're going to go.
Right.
And a lot of that sounds like it's going to hinge on what happens with this ArtsConnect group.
Right.
But in the meantime, there's not a lot, you shouldn't burden yourself with worrying about putting on events or these other time-consuming things. You should just be existing as a board, trying to evaluate whether this next step
we're gonna go.
is. Yeah,
Yeah.
and if this Connect thing doesn't work, then maybe you have to reevaluate whether it's a society.
Well, what we don't want to do is, we
The people
don't,
who've been here are...
we don't want to
found
disappoint you.
of value to them, they spread the word around, and we start getting applications for membership.
But yes, no, I think you want to be careful. That's the same with Tri-Cities. I mean, we should have, could have gone after more volunteers a year ago when we had the Shaw closure. But to me, going after volunteers at that time would be a wasted effort because we didn't have the infrastructure to support having them anyways.
Right.
So this whole year has been, well, we're continuing on with programming at a much reduced production rate. And we're going to focus on getting new volunteers and training.
Right.
So you have to kind of focus at where you need to develop. And right now, it's obvious you need to develop members. And I think looking
We need a
into
board
doing
that's
this
willing
thing
to-
where you offer a video production for them is an opportunity that every time you go to an event, we'll sign you up as a member. We'll do a little video for you.
Right.
You know, if you go to an Art Focus event where there's 20 people there, you don't have to get Art Focus to sign up as a member anymore. It's nice to get organizations
The
signed
artists-
up.
artists
But you go to the
themselves
artists
want-
themselves for $20.
personal.
You're a member of ArtsConnect. And oh,
so
by
you
the
get
way, we
personal
can do this
coverage.
video for you.
Yes.
Right? And then over the course of the year, you'll build up, 50 new members. It's not going to happen overnight.
Okay,
It's not
can
going to
I
happen in a
just
month.
mention-
right?
Visual.
That's why it's really important that when somebody applies for funding, that they put this documentation line in there so that it gets recorded. If you have no record, then if the CRA decides to audit you, you can't prove that you actually did what you're claiming you spent money on.
So there's a benefit of ArtsConnect right there.
Yeah.
With any of the artists and other groups that are applying for.
That's right. So,
Okay, well, can we get Jeff to speak on his thoughts about the future of
oh, let's do
ArtsConnect?
that.
Number 9?
Sure,
Where we can partner, or whatever your thoughts are regarding.
Sure, I'll be brief. It's an ArtsConnect meeting, not a Tri-Cities Community TV thing. But again, I'm harking back to my experience with ArtsConnect. When I first came on board, one of the main things ArtsConnect was doing was spending money monthly, paying some guy to do layouts so he could have a nice promotional calendar of what's happening in the community.
Mhm.
And then you guys were, for some reason, paying the paper to put this in the paper, essentially doing their work for them and paying them at the same time. I don't know how they had the audacity to charge you for that. And what I'm trying to bring to the table is a vehicle where you're doing the same thing in a video format, only you're getting funding for doing it as opposed to paying someone else for the privilege of sticking it in their paper.
Great.
And,
Well, where would it be presented?
Sorry?
Where would this calendar be presented?
Right, so the calendar will be presented through either our
website.
Tri-Cities Community TV website, but I mean, I think the ArtsConnect has their own website too. So again, what we would be as Tri-Cities Community TV is providing the assets of production gear and knowledge and helping you guys to put that together. Again, if we apply for funding, we can get somebody like Natasha doing a report once a month from each art center in the community. What's happening at the Evergreen, what's happening at Place des Arts. Nothing too time consuming. You go up there and you shoot a 5-minute stand-up, you take a couple graphics, you push them out. But you augment that with the individual artist profiles and things like that that you can do at the various showings and try and put an effort towards promoting the community through the digital media. And then as far as the way you disseminate it, sure, on your own website, on our website, and both of those could definitely be enhanced over the next.
Yeah, the calendar is something that people really miss.
Mr. Ball has come from White Rock to give us a little insight into gaining funding through a new source, I guess is the best way I could put it. He's also offered to donate one of his art pieces to us that we can put up for sale. So we can give Mr. Ball a few minutes to enlighten us about this new process of raising funds. That certainly would be beneficial to us as Tri-City and yourself and ArtsConnect.
And
As long as
Mr. Ball, it's
as long as it
okay.
doesn't involve breaking apart one of those pieces and throwing the rocks at the window.
Or at me.
Or I was going to just say, yeah, well, first of all, the absolute only reason that I'm here today is to support this friend that I got to know within ArtsConnect several years ago. Some of you in this room know, you do, and she does, and I don't know about Andrew and Phil. But I was quite committed to this organization, but I was tied more to what the First Nations aspect of it was, and I didn't understand it all at the beginning, but I came to the meetings, and there was some issues that happened that caused me to turn my back. I didn't turn my back on Bill.
They turned their back on you.
Well, yes, in those particular two individuals, yes, they certainly did in the most brutal way. Bill, I'll donate one of my sculptures because, and I'm not here to sell anything. I don't want anybody to think I'm here for a personal motive because I'm not. I have no motive except to support what Bill is doing and by extension to support what you're doing. I happen to have some specific skills that I think would be of value, and I'll be as quick as I can because this is not a quick subject. It's a long conversational subject for another time. If I open the door and you think that it has value, because I hear a lot of the subtext in all these conversations is connected in some ways to money.
Oh, yeah.
It's connected in some ways to audience and connections and all. There's all kinds of elements at work. And what I bring to this table as far as those things are concerned is an expertise in organizational building. And on the 20th of October, I launched a company, 20th of October, yes. Company is Global Enterprises, Inc. And it is not a nonprofit, but we are developing and supporting 19 nonprofits, thanks to him teaching me how. We have several of those registered with the Canadian government. Others are in the process of being registered. My wife is our CTO of our company, and CFO, sorry. And she is also managing all of our work with the nonprofits. Now, a lot of them lean towards the crises we're facing in our world today with climate change and plastics crisis. I have become a notable expert in this field, 20 years of study, writing, et cetera, et cetera. I have an organization called Global Rescue Alliance that is designed to bring some special talents and pressures that I have learned from politicians, actually, to try to be of value there. You mentioned promotion earlier. I think we both mentioned promotion earlier. That's one of my long suits. That's been a lot of what I've done over my entire career. Outreach, audience. I'm big on press releases. We're planning to put about 300 or 400 press releases, global press releases out for my company. But that's in the only reason the company is there is to support our nonprofit. So just so you know that connection. I have heard in this room several references to a need to fundraising and maybe a need for some of the skills I bring, and for that reason I have become a member tonight so that I can be of service, and started a company that I just mentioned to you that is designed to support nonprofits. I'm a fundraiser, and I've been looking at that concept of group marketing, crowdfunding, paying it forward. There's all kinds of aspects of what people do to be successful, and so the connection I was just trying to make there, cross between joint venturing, crowdfunding, and paying it forward. I loved that movie, and it made so much sense to me back in the day, and I still believe it with all my heart. And everything I touch, we do with that level of paying it forward. And I want to just read a note I made here, but it was the final statement that I wanted to leave you with today, and I'm going to read it now because it will make the rest of the comments will make sense. By the end of the first year, should we work together in any way, your NPO would be receiving approximately, this is an estimate based on current activities, $2,000 per month. But what I encourage is for, let's say, a group like this, if this made sense. Now, I will create a package if you have any interest whatsoever, and that's not why I'm here. It means nothing to me, except I may accomplish something of value here. The membership is for life, but it's almost never required to be paid for. That $7 a month is picked up and deducted from your position, if you will. If you like the idea but hated the idea of parting with $7, I would put all of yours in for you. See, so I'm not trying to sell you guys anything. I'm trying to show you there's a method here that I have perfected, that we have lots of supportive evidence of, that we could turn everything we've talked about here tonight into a financial success within the first year or half a year. And it only can grow. This cannot go backwards, it can't fail, there's no holes in it. And that's a miraculous progress that I made, but I don't give myself the credit for it. And I finally got that missing piece, which turned this from a 97% failure industry to a 97% success industry. Now it should be 100%, but I know that somebody, as one woman said, I don't think I want to do this, and I said, well, really? And she said, yeah. Now I know that this isn't a good enough explanation. It's very difficult to keep it to what I kept her to, and if there is some interest, then I will develop a package for you and get it built.
And that was just going to be my question. Would you have a package of we could follow at our leisure? Apparently we only have 15 minutes left, so...
No, I mean, we have to leave here at 4, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I think we only have 15 minutes. That's all right.
Yes, so if you're satisfied, Norman,
Yep.
it sounds interesting. Again, once you put the package together, you can send it in, I can distribute to everybody
Yep,
that's
I'll be
here.
happy to do that.
And we'll go from there. Sherry has 12 and 13, I guess, to speak to or speak about. And then we can go invite the homeless and finish off that food.
Yeah, okay, I think I've talked about all those.
Oh, okay, well then, in which case.
Yeah, those are new projects that I thought that we could move forward with. Because they will not be service. We used to do all the service providers, that's what we used to do. So the projects that are listed on, under 12, those are the projects that I thought we would actually pay attention to. I did mention that our records went to the Quitlam Archives. The records that I was able to get my hands on, that is. There's boxes of records that Roche has that he's talking about. But nonetheless, what we have is in the hands of Quitlam Archives, which was actually quite useful to us. I came across a batch of people, artists, who had applied for scholarships that we actually held funding raises for. And I'm thinking, do we know what happened to the money we gave those guys? What about this one? The ArtsConnect Scholarship Fund allowed them to hold on to it for 3 years before using it for an arts and culture way. That's 20 years ago. They're grown-ups now. What happened?
And probably working with McDonald's.
Well, good. Did we help?
That'd be an interesting.
Yes,
Yeah.
we're pulling up those names and
Right.
seeing what they've done with
Yeah,
their lives
and-
as artists or, like I said,
Yeah.
because there's some kids
I
out
know.
there that are really fantastic
Yeah.
artists I've seen.
Was there no reporting associated with it?
No, but it wouldn't be that difficult if you know, had a name.
I thought that was interesting because we're now looking at adults instead of teenagers.
Well, something like 20%, less than 20% of people going to formal education wind up in a career in that actual.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know why artists should be any different.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we can't expect too much, but if you
No,
find some
but-
successes in there, that's still a good.
Yeah, I
story.
mean, out of, say you sponsored 20 people over the years, or 40, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you take the 5 that did something with it and sort of highlight them.
Highlight that.
I'm just shocked though that those were given out without any kind of, like, there should have been at least a report back.
Well, you know what I was
Tell
saying.
us how you did.
What
you
I was
know.
saying is, tell us what happened.
Yeah.
Christine said, well, we don't.
Hey, there's a program for us.
Yeah.
The first program is
Okay, when ArtsConnect did an Open Eye, Open Eye was where we bought the kids in Riverside High School throwaway cameras, one throwaway camera each. And they took pictures of, a couple of hours, they took pictures going around Poco, and then we showed them how to develop the things, how to pick, how to choose what they liked, how to frame it, how to promote it, how to put on shows. So we actually have their stuff shown in Terry Fox Library, Port Moody Library, Evergreen, and 4 of them went on to art school. Out of 12. And the way we
That's
got
not bad.
12 to stay in and listen was by providing them pizza.
Yeah, to drive them. So you want to cover 13?
Well, part of it to the, she
I
said
just
something
did.
about the
Oh, you
scholarships.
did?
on the- Yeah, number C, 13C.
Yeah. And that was
Oh, there you go.
vernissage. And the neat thing about the vernissage brochure is all the guys that we know of as regular artists, only 20 years on. And I just thought, well, we did a lot of good back then. And all these people that are now in their 80s have made significant contributions to our club. And your name was in that booklet. Really, as designer, apparently.
That's it. We're ready for adjournment. Unless Norman has anything else to.
The shopping mall garage.
Oh,
right,
well, you
Laura.
already spoke to that, didn't you? Or-
Oh, yes.
Shortly, I invited, I met Jeff Nagel, that was a roundtable, the watershed roundtable. He came around to talk about the expansion of the curriculum center there. They have to do something for the community, and they put something in. So I suggested, or art, what can be done to create something. So we should be following up or pressure them, or the cities, or...
Well, this is a 25-year plan, you're talking about the city center?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Portland City Center, yeah, they'll be doing public art of all sorts. I've talked to them too.
Yeah,
So
now...
will any of us be around?
Well, that's it, and I mean, and I was talking to them about, like, heck with public art, why don't you do something that's a little bit more living,
Right?
so, but anyway,
So
they got big money,
Theater
so.
and poetry and reading and all that sort of stuff as
Well,
well.
it's like, again, nothing has been decided yet.
My idea would be to have an art gallery, a community
An art
art
gallery,
gallery in
yeah.
there, and somebody has to staff it, or members, and then it rotates, and there's always another show every month, or
Yeah.
talks, or
That's
all
really
kinds of
like
things
that.
happening in the arts, because we have no real art gallery out here,
No, except
or
for,
co-op art gallery.
The Port Moody Art City does it every year with the Port Moody Art Association. They have different departments buying artwork from that annual show, and then it's put in the city hall.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah. So they have a collection.
Poco does the same thing, but they don't buy it. You can.
No, this is actually belongs to the city of Port Moody, and you can go onto their website and you can actually see the collection.
Yeah.
And they also have it like within the building.
Yeah.
You need to have that whole structure of what happens to the collection, who's going to mind it,
Who's going to
protect
keep
it,
it out.
and especially if it's going to be exhibited, and a changeover and all that. Right now, the art centers have their galleries, and it's an ever-changing thing. It's a rotating, or the artists themselves have to propose a show.
Yeah.
And that is actually quite a nice way to do it, because you get more and more people going through. The Art Center in Port Moody has really done a success story because of the Janice Cotter had really made it a community gallery. So you're getting a higher attendance to the art shows. Of course, the Silk Gallery is the only commercial gallery we have in Port Moody and in the Tri-Cities. It's doing quite well, and they've got expensive artwork in there right now, and it's selling, and so it's doing something. So things are happening. There are art galleries.
well,
So,
that's good to know.
yeah.
I'll put a motion on the table to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
We haven't even done the cake.
Oh,
50-year-old
yes, we gotta do that.
anniversary. 50-year-old, my God.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy 50th anniversary, ArtsConnect. Happy birthday to you. And many more.